Hey Vikings fans, welcome to the Minnesota Vikings Podcast. Chris Corso here, and this week's guest is Vikings.com's Ben Leber, who joins us visually today thanks to our friends at Microsoft Teams. And Ben, I get the chance to talk to you right after games each week on the Vikings.com post-game report. But now you've had a few days to digest what happened on Sunday with the 33-27 loss to the Chicago Bears. So, Ben, what are your just overall thoughts looking ahead to 2021 and the final two games of the NFL season?
Yeah, man, it's amazing what just a few days, we always have that 24-hour rule in football where, don't make any like rash judgments and kind of let your emotions calm down, whether it's a win or a loss, because you have to critically analyze everything from a business standpoint and from a true football standpoint. And sometimes when you analyze things right after a game, you're just going off pure emotion. And that's kind of the way it's always been for me. When we talked after the game, I was probably more upset after the game and disappointed because I really think that we had a team that should have won that game. Although we didn't play well enough to win, I obviously understood that. But now that we're a couple days removed, I think I just have this sense of just acceptance, that, I think this team did a great job the whole year of just kind of putting together some quality wins and keeping us as a fan base engaged, and they were competitive. They had some, fourth quarter runs that were awesome. Kirk and the offense looked great at times, but let's be honest. I mean, there was deficiencies on both sides that I think all just came to fruition in that game on Sunday. And that's kind of where I'm at now is like, I know that we have a couple games left in the season, but the Vikings kind of are who I think we thought they were at the start of the season. And maybe we lied to ourselves at times about who they could be. But they're in a realistic situation based on where we are talent-wise, especially on defense.
Yeah, so they moved to 6-8 on the season, and you're 2 games behind the Arizona Cardinals with 2 games to go. If we're looking at any sort of lottery scenario here where we make a run at the playoffs, it would be the Cardinals losing out, the Vikings winning out, and then the Bears also have to lose a game as well. So there is a scenario where the Vikings get in. Do you see that? Any chance of that happening for our guys here?
No, not at all. I know this is the Vikings podcast, and I realize that we're in the business of selling hope, and that's fine. I mean, the way you laid it out there, we have a 3-4% chance of actually making the playoffs. We still have to take control and take care of the games that are in front of us as far as the Vikings go, and you need some help from everybody else. But from my perspective, if I was a player, I would say there's no chance. I mean, I would go into the next 2 games of let's play competitive football on a personal level. Let's not embarrass yourself on national TV on Friday. Let's try to get out of the season healthy. I think you get into self-perseverance mode and self-preservation mode of just trying to take care of yourself. And I think that's human nature. I mean, you're going to go out there and you're going to play a high competitive football, but at the end of the day, you're going to see some guys probably turning hits down. You're going to see some guys doing things that make sure that they take care of their body because they don't want to be in the training room all off season. That's the reality of where we're at. And if you can do all of that and still win a game, awesome. And if Arizona loses and Chicago loses, that's great. You still have to go out and beat the Lions in Detroit on the following weekend, and you still have to have some other help. So you can say all the positive, hopeful things that you want. Me personally, it's over. This 2020 season to me is over.
Yeah, that's really interesting to hear your perspective as a player because obviously you were a player in this league for a very long time and you played a bunch of games at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Well, we won't bring up 2009 on this show, but obviously looking at heading into this game on Christmas Day, you have a national audience, a bunch of young players, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So how are these guys getting up for this game this week? Like, you're a player. Take us in the mindset of an NFL player going into this game on Christmas Day.
Well, even though they're young, they're still going to go through the same roller coaster of emotions where they thought forecasting going into the last weekend that, all right, we take care of Chicago and we have a absolutely 100% meaningful game on Christmas Day. And what a game to go out and hopefully win that game and showcase myself. And now they have to fight that emotion of, okay, the season's lost. The season's lost. And you've got to go through that emotion. And then you also have to realize, hey, as a young player on a national stage, I can really go out and help myself. I can go out and, put myself in the Justin Jefferson world of maybe I can become a household name. Maybe Jeff Gladney can go out and show people why he's got such a high ceiling. Same thing with Cam Dantzler. And so you have to look at those opportunities because those are real. Because on the flip side of that, you go out and embarrass yourself, people are going to remember that. That's the first time that you've heard this name in an NFL game, because there's going to be millions of people that have not watched the Vikings play this whole season. And they want to see what Dalvin Cook is about. They want to see what Kirk Cousins is about. They want to see who Justin Jefferson is. Like, is he really living up to the hype? And as fair or unfair as that is to judge somebody off of one game, that's what people are going to do when they look at these young rookies. And so you have to quickly put all those things that I mentioned about what happened on Sunday, put that to bed, refocus, recalibrate, find a new motivation to not get embarrassed and actually showcase yourself.
You spoke about a lot of these young rookies, and I want to ask you from a defensive, you're a defensive expert, in my opinion, when it comes to X's and O's and looking at some of the performances of some of these guys. You did all of their breakdowns during the draft, before the draft, after the draft. What rookie on the Vikings defense has really impressed you the most? I want you to pick one, because there's a bunch of them who have really grown over the course of the season, but which one has impressed you the most with his growth this year?
I would say Dantzler.
Yeah.
As much as I think Gladney has a high ceiling as well, and I think is probably more athletically talented than Cam. If Cam had been in the lineup every week of the season and he had been dependable and hadn't gotten injured, I think that you would have, twice as many interceptions. I think you'd have twice as many game-changing plays and difference-making plays. I just think for him, it comes down in really whatever profession. Like, you have to make the plays that are presented in front of you, but you also have to create plays. Look what Anthony Harris did a year ago. He had some interceptions in 2019 that he created himself.
Yep.
Whether it was moving around pre-snap, disguising things, putting himself in a different position, and then just being a football player, playing instinctful football, jumping a route that maybe you shouldn't have any business jumping that route because that's not your responsibility, but you're going to go out and make a play. Cam has that ability. He's shown that ability already that, you know what? I'm going to jump in front of this tight end and make this interception. I know that my technique tells me to be in a trail position, be in a position to knock this ball down. But if I see something in that instant and I can go make a play, I'm going to go make the play. And I don't think that we've had a rookie outside of Justin Jefferson that has done that has really shown that, hey, I'm just going to go make a play. I'm going to play with football instincts. So defensively, I'd have to say Cam. Now, obviously, offensively,
that's
Justin Jefferson is out of this world. I mean, you almost forget that he is a rookie. When you think about rookies on this team, you're like, my God, we've heard his name called so often, and people talk about him so much. You forget that he's a rookie, and congratulations to him going to the Pro Bowl. So, obviously, offensive guy is Justin. Defensively, it's Cam.
Yeah, obviously, there's a lot of positives to look forward to for the Vikings with all of these draft picks. I mean, you have Justin Jefferson, literally only 2 rookies in the NFL make the Pro Bowl, and the other one was Chase Young, who went really high in the draft. So Justin Jefferson really impressive this year. On Dantzler, I think it's impressive the way he had those 2 interceptions in big moments the past couple weeks. The Vikings had a team that didn't have any interceptions from their cornerback position before Dantzler made that play a few weeks ago. So definitely a lot to look forward to. But now I want to take it back to your experiences going to that Mercedes-Benz Superdome, because I know that there's players out there that say it's like the loudest place in the NFL to play. And I know Christmas Day, it's not going to be the same with COVID and stuff going on, but What were your experiences playing in that place? And just obviously the Vikings Saints rivalry has become, I mean, we've had their number as of late, that's for sure.
I know a lot of Vikings fans don't want to hear this, but it's the best dome experience, inside stadium experience that you can go through. And that it all starts really the second that you land. It's just a different city. I mean, they pride themselves on being on a convention events driven city, and they know how to throw a party. And especially if you look at some of the bigger games, look at the NFC Championship game, the moment that we landed in New Orleans, you can just feel the football energy, and that was all around town. And as great as the Viking fans are, Minneapolis is not built like that. There's a lot of people that have interests outside of football, and for the core passionate Viking fans that we have, yeah, they can be loud and boisterous, but when a whole city and really a whole state kind of gravitates and rallies behind one team, it definitely is something that's palpable and you can feel. And then you get to outside the stadium on game day. I mean, it's nuts. I mean, and by sheer number of people, our Viking fans are loud, but they can pack in 10 to 12,000 more people in that stadium. So you get a passionate fan base that's loud and crazy, and you multiply that by 10 or 15,000 more people. It's just a louder environment. I mean, there's a sound and there's a buzz that truly pulsates through your body that is unlike anything that you'll ever feel. So it's awesome. It is an awesome experience. I wish that in my experience that we saw more of shutting their fans up than listen to them cheer. But it's unfortunate that it's going to be a Christmas Day game. It would normally be rowdy and crazy, and the young rookies on this team would get to feel that experience. But unfortunately, they can't do it this year.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hopefully it's a positive experience for some of these young rookies going against one of the best teams in the NFL on Christmas Day. But last question, I just want to ask you, just looking forward, because we were joking before the show about how every odd year the Vikings have been making the playoffs since 2015, and every even year, which obviously 2020 is a unique year in itself, we have not made the playoffs and finished around this 500 realm. So I'm thinking you get Danielle Hunter back, Michael Pierce, Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks healthy again. You have all the pieces coming together with the young guys we were just talking about. And I don't know about you, but I have high expectations for the year 2021. Hopefully the whole world is different. And the Vikings are not 3-5 in an empty US Bank Stadium for a year. So what are your expectations going forward for this Vikings team?
For all those things that you mentioned, getting those core players back are going to be huge, because I look at the totality of the year, and we didn't fail offensively. We had an offense that is explosive, puts up a lot of points, can play winning football, despite the fact that we can complain about, sometimes the offensive line isn't as strong as we'd like them to be. Are there going to be new pieces and there's going to be some guys mixed in and around to better our offensive team? Absolutely. That happens every year. So I think that the foundation that's been laid in 2020 on offense is this going to get better in 2021. Now, defensively, you add just those guys back that you talked about, it's a whole different defense. I think that we can stop the run better. We put ourselves in better third and manageable situations as a defense. I think our scoring defense dramatically improves. And thus, with the same offense, a better defense, we have more wins, and we're talking about playoffs now in an odd year in 2021. So we'll stay on trend with that cyclical nature. But I do think that we are going to have a much better football team. Now, we don't know what the schedule is going to be. Obviously, we don't know what draft picks we're going to get. I would like to see some free agents come into play, but we are going to, in the short term, have to, as an organization, make some tough decisions. As of right now, we're still up against the cap when it comes to salary cap. Hopefully that number changes and it gets bumped up for what the projections are, so we're not staring at a situation where we're over the cap. Either way, I think you're going to see some veteran players that we've liked here in the purple probably have to get released and let go. So it's going to be in the short term, I think, a tough offseason, because I don't see how you can keep some of the veteran guys on the team that are making a lot of money. One of the guys that you mentioned already may or may not be a team because of salary cap purposes. So I'm really excited and looking forward to, from a business standpoint, where we go in the next 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a fun offseason to track. Can't wait to ask you about all the draftees coming up after covering college football all year. So thanks, Ben, for joining us, and happy holidays to all Vikings fans out there. Look forward to the game as the Vikings take on the Saints on Christmas Day. And thank you again to our friends from Microsoft Teams, the official partner of the Minnesota Vikings podcast.